going to be keeping an eye on EMF, just so you know you can yeah, let's get into this now, just so you can have an idea. This, again, like I said, measures electricity. Behind your TV set, it's going to be about 40 to 60 milligauss. That's about the average of a normal flat screen TV today. Put it next to your microwave that's heating up your food, 150 to 170. So that's kind of the basis of things around your home. The highest I've ever seen this device go has been here in my 11 years of doing this, 214 milligauss. It's like putting your head inside the running microwave. We left pretty quickly. I actually have epilepsy. That's not something I'm willing to play with that much electricity in the air. So you guys are getting my point. Normally, if I hand this out, oh, look at that, an 8.2. If I hand this out to another guest, I tell them, let me know as soon as it hits triple digits. But the average spike in this location is between 18 to 22 milligauss. I'm just trying to figure out like who's moving. So 18 to 22 is the average, 5 out of 7 nights a week. It may go higher than that, may not go even up to 18. We never know. That's the fun part for me, is every single night is different. I have no idea what the hell we're gonna find out here. I'm just telling you the averages. So, yeah, they're getting awfully close to that car, aren't they? What did I say we had, an 8.3? 9.9, look at that. Look at that, I'm reaching in the wrong pocket for my notebook because I'm wearing the damn vest now. 8.3 and 9.9, I'm excited about that because we're already on our way. So, actually gonna have you lead the way. And again, that crying bit could be something relevant that you're getting. I'm not writing it down until you can kind of clue it together before I give you all the answers. What do you think, Bill?
I'm being still. Like you told me.
You've been pretty quiet since I started talking and doing all of my fast
I'm
rambling.
listening. I'm listening.
6, 5,
I'm a listener.
7. So let's kind of do some 1 or 2 laps around here and see what we can get. We'll just walk slow. Have you heard anything at all?
Nothing.
And remember, it might be the silliest
You just
thing.
did something. Is what I just heard.
Okay, it's vague, but you still heard something.
That's something that came through just now.
Eliza, I've already told you who is coming tonight. If you could be so kind as to answer our questions for us. We're focused on your death, just like we normally are with a group this small. I know it's Saturday and it's busy out here.
Stronger.
Okay, let's take a lap. You keep Tourette syndrome, those terms out, and I'll see what we can get and see if something sticks.
Creative, talented.
This was a breeze tonight.
Yeah. Feels good.
Last week was horrible. I was showing up like at the start, like drenched from head to toe.
Yeah.
Like it was bad. Eliza, where are you at? Can you give us some direction on where you might be? It's a little 10.4.
Everyone in your family.
Eliza, do you want to tell us who's here? Who came with you tonight? Give us a name, please.
Someone fresh.
Eliza, you gotta get closer than that. Thank you. 14. So on the science end of things, if it was coming from something man-made, it would go from like a 7.3 down to a 6.9, then a 6.5, and then maybe move back up to a 6.7. Like it would stay within proximity. So when they're moving around like they all are right now I'm getting a bunch of zeros because I'm showing it to you. Get a 14.1. And then drops down to like a 1 point something. 62. 17.8 and then drop to 0. Like, no in between. 17.8 straight to 0.
Yeah. Like I was standing here. And I wasn't. I was literally got goosebumps. That was it.
And gone. Like nothing happened.
Yeah. Right after the 62.
62 is a close but no cigar. I'll explain more about it before we leave.
All I got was a 62 out of this thing that I would say. Like that's why I walk. Something made me walk that. I don't know why. I got to walk that way.
I'm getting like just typical like 3 to 7s in here, which is still an astronomical number for any other space. But I'm also getting my zeros at the same time.
Love.
It's a vague term, considering it says a true love story, but I would,
Sense.
yeah, I would still want something more to verify, like she wants to know how much she loved Charles, you know, something a little bit more specific, maybe in a quote or something she may have said. She did quote about how much she loved him. Plenty of quotes from Eliza. 21.1. Eliza, you gotta give us some more answers. Kind of wanting to let her lead anyway. Wanted to see where it was going to take her.
Right.
The world went round.
She's hearing things, which is good.
You only get one chance.
See how you're getting better at it? Takes a little bit of time. It's not an easy task to do.
It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's very annoying. Normally, if I get called to another team, it's because of what I'm able to do with those on any speed.
You're going to be able to see something.
Is that what it said?
That's what it just said.
You're gonna be able to see something. I saw a big giant bug fly past you.
What?
I saw it. I saw it.
What?
I said I just saw a big giant bug fly past you.
Oh, really? Maybe that was somebody.
Maybe it was. So no crazy figures on there that you can make out.
Big Daddy.
I haven't been really looking.
Can you point that thing over there?
Figure over there. Just can't tell if it's like our shadow, if it's part of the wall. See me in there?
I just saw you walk across, and now I don't see it because you're not my screen.
I wanted to try to get close to that area.
Over here, I see the figure.
Lion stick figure?
No.
The other thing was.
But the other thing I don't see now.
It was over here.
It was over.
So at least it's recorded for me to be able to screenshot it and see what's going on over there.
It
It
was
will
over
pick up
here.
shadows. Shadows are an absence of light. So if it is a shadow, it would have been more on the ground because our shadows don't even hit the wall.
Now it's showing, going in and out.
We actually had an interaction with somebody on this wall last week, maybe 4 or 5 nights ago, where it was a, hey, can you move your right hand? Like, that's the kind of thing I'll normally do. And we had a movement of the right hand. We said, can you move your other hand? We got a movement of the other hand. And then I said, can you just move out of that spot to really verify that it's you? And for a split second, they were over there and then came back. So it was very quick. So it's kind of like, okay. Any other messages I need to know before I wrap up this one and kind of give you the answers? Because my readings are really low at this point. They haven't gone back up.
You didn't hear what I say.
Eliza, you got to give us one last shot here before I wrap this one up. You know, we don't stay here for too long.
This is an easy one.
This is an easy one. This is why I bring you guys here. I haven't even checked my word list in a while. Oh, look at that. The word lover.
What?
Right around the same time you heard the word love.
What is it?
Lover.
Well, shiver your thoughts.
Hey, Eliza, we're going to say goodnight. Can you say goodnight back to us before I give them all the answers? Good night, goodbye, see you tomorrow. Any kind of parting words that you want to throw at us?
I'm getting a figure right over here.
Again?
Goodbye to you. Goodbye to you.
Is that what it said?
Yep.
Bye.
Goodbye to you.
She just heard goodbye to us. Okay. Got it on recording. It's still in the exact same spot. I'm wondering if it's part of the vehicle.
See?
Yeah, it's really dark.
I'm telling you, there's somebody over there. I'm cold again. Why am I cold?
I don't know. It's hot as hell out here. Alright. Hit your stop so we don't lose the footage. Yep. You can hold it like a suitcase. You don't even need to pay attention to it. Like grab the top handle and lower it if you want to. But anyway, so the argument gets really heated and they go their separate ways. But I told you Ralph has friends around town. So he goes to his friends at the newspaper and puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a jerk, disgrace to society kind of mentality, right? Doctor saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. We're going to settle this and somebody's going to die. Yeah, all over an actress, right? That's how it started. So they came down and took their 10 paces. They turned. The doctor pointed his gun in the air and shot, which is often what happened at a duel. He just wanted to have the courage to show up.
Yeah.
But Ralph had his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. But the lad didn't die. He falls to the ground, and his friends picked him up and took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. So this is where I normally have to explain that it's 1786 and he refused medical treatment because gunshot wounds were a lot different back then. He probably just tried to bleed out the lead poisoning himself because he was in fact a doctor. So every tour in town will tell you, listen how quiet it is, you can hear the whistles if you pay attention. I'm going to basically rattle and ramble in here for the entire time we're here, but if we're going to get whistles from this location, it's going to come from my voice recording or from your camera. So it's going to be there. The secondary way this actually shows up is whistling will show up from parts of songs or the word whistle along with the word doctor almost immediately after. We've gotten it several times. Again, I've been coming here for 4 years. Now, if you're going to try this on your own, because I don't know how long you guys are going to be here in town.
We leave tomorrow.
And you want, oh yeah, that's right, you did say that. And you're going to walk all the way through the alley, turn on the voice recorders from your phone and listen to it later, see if you got any whistles in the background. But keep in mind, every local knows the story. So anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every morning. After I'm done with your data, I pass by the alley and I always throw a whistle down here, especially since I got to run out of here. You guys ready for this? Because this is the funny part of the story. And Bill's like, oh shit, who the hell are we actually joined up with? So this alley didn't go all the way through that way, the way we came in. There was a wall up there. So halfway between us and Cumberland Street, which is exactly why I stopped at the gate. So that's the reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. This used to be called Cow Alley. What does that mean for you guys? We had cows and chickens down here,
yeah.
right? But down at the end of the alley, like on the Queen Street side, was built first. Those bricks that are down at the end are sun-dried bricks from slave children. So there's a full handprint from a slave child down there, and
Really?
fingerprint swipes, and other bricks. I used to take my group all the way through here. Like, we would come out of that way because there's a whole different route, and we'd go to the end of the alley, but I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. I'm not
Just
gonna
like to remind you.
I'm not going to be stopping to get paranormal activity out of that brick. That's the last place you're going to find that kid. However,
yeah.
November 26th of 2020, my entire group wanted to stop 10 people and huddle around that brick and wait to see what was going to happen. I'm trying to shoo them along because I know nothing's going to happen. Second, because it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. Yeah, I'm just trying to be respectful, not realizing I was out of bounds. I didn't realize, because I was still new at this, I didn't realize I was out of bounds for tours that late at night. So the new owner of the mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because her dad's getting yelled at. So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving. I'm going to this because of the date of the next day, November 28th. I called my partner that I had at the time, and I basically told him what happened. He too laughed at me and said, "You're not allowed to go down that far. You're only allowed to go down halfway. That's the cutoff for tours. Or you got to reroute the group. It's Black Friday. I have another full group." I told my team that night we're gonna have to reroute, but I don't believe in the next story because I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. We're obviously talking about pirates next. So I don't know where the heck that group is coming out of. They're not supposed to be coming down that far if they're a tour. If you guys are getting my point. But before we left the space, a person with a spirit box heard the name Ann come out of their spirit box. I didn't know what it meant. Well, I did know what it meant, but I was like, all right, we'll see what happens, because I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate Anne Bonny. I was like, oh shit, cool.
I've never heard that name.
Go up to the next spot. I told them a little bit I did know about piracy in Charleston, because remember I only had a few hours to do some research, and I already told them, like, I don't believe in this one. We're going to see what happens. Somebody else here's the number 300. I write it down. I researched it the next day. Turns out we were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial.
Wow.
Yeah, that's normally the reaction I get, but I was pissed off. Let me tell you why. I have a master's degree in creative writing. Especially when doing this, I need facts and data to be able to create a great piece of history or a story. Even when I'm writing fiction, I still like it to be based off of actual data.
Yeah.
Now, pirate stories are based off of pirate lore, which were written 100 years after the fact of when these things actually allegedly occurred. So trying to piece this together to make sure what we're going to be discussing is legit, just know that everything I'm going to tell you is either come from a previous investigation, me researching it, and a minimum 3 resources have verified it. So that's kind of my criteria. So like, all right, so 2 people have said this, 2 different types of sides of the coin, but at the same time, we'll see what actually happens. It is a hit or miss location, which is why I kind of like to bleed over from here. Anne Bonny is said to be seen all over town. I'll explain to you more about why we're going to that specific location when we get there, but she is said to be seen all over. We're fingers crossed going to be there at the same 15 to 17 minutes that she will be, and hopefully we're going to get some answers out of her if we're going to be asking her questions. So before I leave the space, the gate. There's another reason why I stop here. Not everybody knows why the gate is here. This also shows you the length I go into my research. Remember I told you the alley didn't go all the way through this way? So if there was a loser to the duel in the middle of the alley, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall. Otherwise, they'd have to go all the way down to Queen Street, which we've already seen how long this alley is, and then double back with a dead body, which is dead weight, before they could go celebrate the winner with a pint. And if that duel was in the dead of summer, it is hot as shit down here. So again, especially these men wearing suits and many more layers than you and I are right now. So again, I like to call this the death gate, but the wrought iron was probably put here in the early 1900s, but you can see that the archway is definitely part of the original wall.
Yes.
So there are other rumors that there's so much foliage in here to hide the bullet holes from all of the other duels. I can kind of call BS on here because I've been down here daytime, nighttime, hundreds, maybe thousands of times. And there is a rumor that Andrew Jackson actually had a duel down here, and I've yet to find anything to verify anything. Locals will tell me that one. Like, you knew Andrew Jackson had a duel down here.
Black
Like,
Well, I've read something about Andrew Jackson having a duel. I
Yeah.
don't know where it was. I
Right.
can't remember that, but he had a duel.
Black Call? Is that what you just heard? That's interesting.
Black coal.
I think, honestly, it's funny enough, is I heard somewhere that Andrew Jackson had his duel in New York.
I don't think so. But it's possible. I've read that before. I can't remember where it happened, but he did have a duel.
But they say that one of the bullet hole, because they shot it off to the side during his duel, is actually still here.
Space.
Check my word list before we go, and then we've obviously got some footage. See if and normally, because the foliage always gives us like that gobbledygook with your camera, I'm always looking dead center down the alley. So obviously we can see that there's some people down there. So I'll be looking at that as well. Got the name Robert. Yeah, not a whole lot came up down here. So we'll see what you missed in real time. Oh, you got that Philadelphia I need to write down, that's for sure. Of course, I keep putting the notebook back in the same pocket in the light pocket. I'm a man of habit. Like
Streets of Philadelphia.
again, don't believe in coincidence. There's a reason why you heard it. Dr. Ladd's birthday shows up all the time in this location as well. I'm not going to tell you who that is. So if you start hearing numbers, just kind of shout them out. You guys ready to learn about some rated R pirates and get the hell out of this hot ass alley? Because it is hot as hell down here.
It's hot?
Yeah, it's always warm down here.
Turn this off again?
Yeah, you can. Go ahead and hit that red button, and then we'll go around the corner, and you can start it back. No. Yeah, there's things that go on in that courtyard. I haven't caught
There's a
anything on
white
film.
dress. White dress. A woman wearing a white dress. And she just was walking.
You got no other like,
And
feelings
she
or intuition of what...
disappeared. And I thought it was like a person. Like I thought you were going to tell me this was... So now I know I did see.
Here, let me tell you what goes on. Every ghost story ends across the street. They don't always tell the story until something pops up about it, simply because part of it is cursed. So let me kind of get into it.
I get the
Across
curse.
the street, there's two different sides to St. Philip's Cemetery. So eastern side is if you're a native Charlestonian, you get buried on that side. This is for everybody else. So just so you know, 7th Vice President John Calhoun buried right behind me. So they still probably just above ground. They keep it open during the daytime, so if you want to go see it, by all means. Sorry, I was talking mainly to the history buff. But across the street, on the eastern side, where the natives are, there's a sign right inside the gate. It says, "There's no holy ghost here, but the Holy Ghost." Yeah, that's it. The reason being is because of they don't want guys like me trying to recreate what happened. Here's how the story goes. I'll make it nice and short. We want to get into pirates. 1888, a young lady dies by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. Yes, her initials are. It's cheesy, it's campy,
Yeah.
but it comes up for us all the time. Anyway, she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. Kind of a sad story, right? 1987, 99 years later, a photographer is taking pictures of our cemeteries. He's a local, he's putting a book together, and he does capture a full apparition in one of his photographs over that cemetery. What I will tell you is that it's 1987, and he doesn't have the tech that we have now, so he has to send it to Kodak, and I don't think I have to explain what the hell Kodak is to you guys.
No.
Good. So, teenagers think it's a bear, by the way. We won't get into that.
Kodiak.
Yeah.
Got it.
Now, Kodak confirms the camera that he says it came from, and that the picture was not altered in any way. But they still don't know what they see in the picture. It's a full apparition of a woman wearing a shawl over her own grave and a baby basket next to her. Like, over the grave. I will tell you, if you want to see the picture, I'm glad to show it to you. I'm just going to ask that you don't touch the tablet. Females that handle it, even in a digital format like my tablet, are said to have the same symptoms we talked about earlier, the headache, the nausea, the dizziness. I don't pass it around because if there's a pregnant female in my group,
Well,
then
that would not be me.
I don't want her family with that on my head, if that makes sense. So do you guys want to see the photo so you
Yeah.
can see what I'm talking about? And you said person in a white dress. I mean, obviously.
I'm a little curious now because I was kind of like,
Yeah, I don't always tell the story, just to be honest with you. It's just, I kind of got it out of my head. People get a little freaked out about it. And they're like, I just saw that on another ghost tour last night, and I took the guy's phone to see it. I'm like, yeah, good job on that. So, here's your full picture. So this is the photograph you took. Your apparition is right here. You can see this woman praying with the baby basket sitting right next to her. So normally,
that is what I saw. That person, but
Right. And the next apparition that was caught, which was like 1994 maybe, maybe 2004, I know it ended in 4. It's very wispy. Like, it's not this defined. Like, this person, she's obviously standing very still.
Yeah.
So, again, this, if you type in and you want to research apparitions caught, this normally shows up in the top 100 clearest apparitions ever caught. Like, it's in that kind of category. So, again, even when you zoom in further on a computer, you can see the weaving in the basket. Like, it's there. So, again.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I saw. But I thought I was seeing a person.
No, you did see a person. She
Yeah,
just wasn't
but
alive.
I thought for sure this was you didn't tell me there was that.
Yeah. And again, I wait for something to happen before I
Oh
even tell
my
you.
God.
This is why I say
Okay.
5 to 6 spots at the beginning of our night, because sometimes you guys see or hear things that come up
Yeah.
relevant to somewhere else. So let's talk about why we're here. Let's get your mind clear.
Yeah.
The powder magazine. You'll get into this one though.
There it is.
So, earthquake bolts on there that look like crosses.
Yeah.
That's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. That's why they're so large and bulky. You can probably see them a little bit better if it's kind of stiff off to the side. But again, it's the little tiny building in the front. So, Bill, just because it seems like you're a big history buff, because you mentioned it a few times, I'll tell you a little bit more about the architecture of the building. It is up in the corner of where the original Charlestown walls used to be. So the Charlestown wall was right here on Cumberland, right? So it's this far away so it doesn't get hit by cannon from any kind of, ship. Which, by the way, your camera's turned opposite. We're getting a shot of your belly.
This?
You want to turn it. There you go.
Ah!
You were getting
Oh,
a
you
shot
think,
of your
I think in that hallway down there, I think I had it the wrong way.
No, I didn't. You didn't.
Oh,
You
okay.
had it the right way.
But did they explain to you guys what earthquake bolts are, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically you know that they don't work, right?
I didn't tell us
Well,
that.
Yeah, they don't work.
they said that they thought, well, at first I thought he said it was from the, I didn't think it was from hurricane. I thought he said it was
From
from
an earthquake.
yeah.
They're for earthquakes.
Well, he said hurricane, I thought.
No, he said
And I was
earthquake.
like, oh, he did?
Because
Okay.
they're called earthquake bolts.
Okay.
So that's what we call them here. You guys have just seen them all over town because it's part of the Charleston charm bullshit that we have. Lion heads and pineapples and all that kind of stuff. But they don't actually work. So every Californian I get on this tour actually laughs their ass off at me whenever I bring these up because they're like, there's newer technology that actually works,
That's
right? I'm like,
hysterical.
I'm aware, but that's the reason why they put those ones in specifically is because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. But the construction of the building is actually, it's a groin vaulted ceiling. Groin vaulted ceiling on the inside. So that means it's made from 8 pillars on the outside that are 36 inches thick, I believe. So that way if it gets hit by cannon, the explosion from the gunpowder will go up in the air, but there's sand underneath those red shingles that's supposed to go up in the air with the explosion and then fall to put out the fire of any kind of explosion. That's another idea that doesn't work.
Don't call me.
We had another gunpowder magazine on Battery Street. It was obviously closer to the water, so it got impacted pretty well. The sand went up, but the building burned to the ground. So that whole theory doesn't work. But the sand from when this was built is still intact. When they turned this into a museum in the 1990s, they actually did some repairs to the roof and lifted up one of the shingles. That sand is still there.
Wow.
So that sand is 300 years old that is sitting up there. Now we know that sand is, obviously at the beginning of time old, but that sand was, obviously chosen to be part of this.
Yeah.
So we're here simply because this building would be something that Anne would recognize. It was being constructed at the same time that she was coming here to start a new life. This is what I call a familiar. On your TV shows,
I was there.
You can see those Boo Buddies, right? The teddy bear with the K2 meter blinky light guy in there. So they use that because the child would recognize it as a toy. We're here for the exact same principle. We don't have any buildings this old. So this is something Anne would actually recognize. So that's why it's a 50-50 shot that we'll actually have contact with her tonight. Now, the building took 10 years to build.
Roxanne again.
Does that sound, because it did a loop. Does that sound like our government? 10 years, small building? I'll answer for you. No, not at all. Sorry if anybody here works for the government.
No.
They're slow. 1708 is when the history begins, so there's a lot of twists here. I'll slow down on the twist to make sure you guys grab them. You guys ready for this? Mm-hmm. Young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you with me so far? Mm-hmm. The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was she that she kicked him out of Ireland in 1708 where there's no airplanes? That was by boat. She must have been pretty damn angry. So I normally give the gentleman a little heated warning, be nice to your lady. So, now, they land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. You're not familiar with full South Carolina. So Dad bought a plantation up there. Mom dies pretty quickly. That means he's sending young Anne down here to sell things from the plantation. hence the familiar building, which is why we're here. Now, we're going to take a step backwards to Ireland for just a second. Pirate lore says that Anne Bonny, at the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, killed a servant with a knife to the belly. So it kind of gives you the mentality of this young lady as we kind of move through her history. So I can't tell you how many times I've had servant, knife, and belly from 3 different people with communication devices, and nobody knows what the other 2 people have heard. So it happens all the time. Fast forward, building's done in 13. By 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne's pretty stoked. The reason why, she's going to fall in love. She wants to earn her freedom, just like a man. And this is the time to do it, because a pirate is here. First guy she falls in love with, and I said first because there's a handful. That's what makes this story so damn interesting. We're going to go through them all. First guy's James Bonny. You already see where this one's going, right? Dad didn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica, got married. And Cormac is now Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name comes from. Now, when you get down there, she realizes James Bonny is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for, right? So this guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British and a coward. This isn't who she wants. So she falls in love again a few years later. This is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off with, in case you're wondering who this guy is.
Suggestion.
Calico Jack has his own ship, he has his own crew. Anne wants to be part of the crew. You can't put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why?
Bad luck.
Thank you. Keeping it family friendly, even though it's just the 2 of you. I get a lot of raunchy answers to that question. I just wait to see what's going to come out of people's mouths. It's funny. But anyway, he makes a deal with her. As it is bad luck to put her on the crew. If you dress like a guy, look like the crew, you can be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. Let's put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant.
Yep.
You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl and then vote Jack off the ship as captain. So he, before she starts the show, drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby here, come back later, and we'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby, but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to this child, by the way. None of my research has ever found it, even with the dozens of pirate books I've read from the time 2020 till now. Anyway, she's going to go flirting. Well, she comes back dressed as a female. That makes Jack angry. So she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured to make him even more angry. I've already kind of told you this young lady's mentality. So she goes down below deck, and we're on guy number 3, in case you lost count. And guy number 3 turns out to be a female, just like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed like males, on the same ship, trying to be pirates. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure because of the time frame, and it is pirate lore, right?
Yeah.
So the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to come take down one measly little pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1 bullet flintlocks. It's obviously not going to work out. Well, first off, they don't know how to use cannons yet, so they haven't been pirates for very long. So it's not going to work out against the whole fleet of Navy ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, she looks at her captain in bow, Calico Jack, and she says, "Jack, I'm so sorry to see you here getting arrested, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." It's a very famous quote by Anne Bonny. We get the word dog here all the time, or dogs barking. It's weird. Again, can't put coincidences out there like that. Anyway, the judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight 2 days prior, so November 26th. So the 2 ladies go in front and they reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. The judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates. So he's gonna hang them. "We plead our bellies," was the last thing they shouted, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. They're trying to save themselves again, and it works. He sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her back home. That's husband number 2, but as she remarries, but it's guy number 4.
The live girl.
But we're going to count Mary Reed as number 3 because we don't really know for sure their full relationship. So that's where the 4 callers come from for Anne Bonny. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. It's a very abrupt ending because we don't know jack shit about her after her pirate career, and there's too many rumors for me to say, oh, it could have been this, it could have been that. Mary Reed, however, did die 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Most books will tell you something simple like fever. I'm saying we're talking pirates, let's make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why the hell not? So here's what I left out of the story for you on the spirit box end. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents on purpose, just so you'd have something to work with. That's the father and the mistress. I left out the name of Calico Jack's ship, the city where Anne grew up in Ireland, and the color of her hair. Anything else is fair game. This is not a prominent English woman that we need to tiptoe around. This is a let's kick her in the shins and get some damn answers kind of mentality. As far as your camera goes, this ivy wall is not your friend. It's always going to make it look like something's here because every leaf is in front of another leaf. So again, if we get anything, it's more than likely going to be probably around the middle. But again, still a lot of things to debunk, but easily done with the trees and the signs and the posts and that kind of thing. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the EMF. We don't normally get a whole lot here, but if we do get something, it's definitely, oh, look at that. Look at there.
Jack.
Got the name Jack. I will also tell you, do you see the word lamb on there?
Yeah.
Do you remember why that's relevant? We talked about lamb earlier.
It was a
Back further.
family of them.
Right. Charles Pinckney's
Charles
first
Pinckney,
wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know where she's buried?
No.
Across the street, next to Charles Pinckney.
That's funny.
Is it though? Oh, look what else. Where are we? We're at the Powder magazine. So
Oh, that's funny.
we got Robert as we were walking into Philadelphia Alley, and then Powder showed up while we were still over there. So again, that bleed over back and forth.
Oh, that's funny.
Again, I can't make this shit up, guys. I don't make this thing do what I want it to do.
Right.
If I did, it would have said your name 12 times and said, "Hey, I know you're a skeptic." Sorry, I'm just trying to get around
I'm a
it.
skeptic.
But I do love the fact that we do have
want this again?
Jack on here, lamb. Like, these are exciting terms for me, just so you know. And I know you were giving me other things that you heard. I just talked over them because I didn't find like they were relevant.
Yeah,
Just
no.
so you know. And I wasn't ignoring you. I did hear you. So you do have the word payment on there next. Just so you know, that's nothing relevant. But again, we're going to explore the space and see what we can get out of here. And it's all about you right now. What do you see what I'm going to do to you next?
Oh, great.
The next place gets a little different than what we've been doing.
If there's some place on our journey where I can take a piss, let me know. Not, I could probably hold it to the full time, but
My office is actually nearby. We're going to somewhat pass it. And we can probably skedaddle in there real quick and let you use the restroom. It's clean.
okay.
It's the only one I know that's open.
I don't care if it's clean or not.
White.
Light. And we can actually have a seat on that wall if you guys want. Again,
No, I'm
right
fine.
next to the magazine.
Freedom.
Just got you in my picture.
Quick little 4.5. That was exciting. Normally I get like a 3 to 5 if we're sitting on the wall because of the electrical pole right there. But a 4.5 over here. Welcome to Saturday nights. You guys flying back or you driving?
Well, we got to drive to South Carolina tomorrow. This week we're visiting our daughter.
You're in Columbia, right?
Yeah, in Columbia, and then we're flying back after Tuesday morning.
Gotcha. So you're in South Carolina. You don't have to drive here. You're already here.
True. True. We're driving to Columbia.
Got it. I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a word guy, so like,
That's
I've
all
got
right.
my wife trained to like text me properly. Like, don't give me misspellings and bad grammar. Like, that's just not gonna work for me. I need punctuation. Like, you gotta say what you mean. Like, she's wrapping up her degrees, and we're gonna actually have to move to New Orleans so she can, go get her. She's going down there to be a vet.
Oh, okay.
So
That's a tough thing to go through.
she's loving it right now.
Yeah.
She's working on her master's for animal behavior and then going straight into some of the science classes that she missed with her bachelor's because those are in the arts. But then we're going to have to go to Louisiana so she can go down and get her, was that a DVM? So
My nieces have that out in Montana. Big animals.
big animals. Oh, yeah. My wife is small cats and dogs. That's what she's at. But she already works for Banfield. So that's a veterinary hospital with PetSmart. So she already works there, and learning the ropes. So she's going to have like from desk to hospital, kind of thing. So she's going to know all aspects of the business, which is super cool. But poor me, I have to go to New Orleans to go ghost hunting. You know what I mean?
You have
So,
to start all over.
well, I got to choose. No, actually, I won't. My reputation follows
Yeah.
because it's all online. But
Yeah.
she's like, would you rather go to St. Augustine? Because there's a school in Florida where we can go halfway between my school and St. Augustine, or we can go to New Orleans because my school will be in Baton Rouge. I'm like, well, shit. If you're going to give me the choice, you're going to apply for the school in
Go to
Louisiana.
LSU?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, you're going to go to LSU, and you better work your ass off to get in there because don't get my hopes up that I'm going to the voodoo capital of the world and we're not going to be able to go. So, I think actually I'll do better down there than I do here.
Probably.
What do you got?
Supposed to focus.
That's what you heard? That you were supposed to focus? You think it was
Took
a
it
direct
as
message?
I'm supposed to focus. That's what I take it as. I'm obviously not focusing.
I think honestly I'll be a little bit more welcome down there. for what I'm
Probably.
doing.
Yeah.
Here in the Holy City, like I hate to say, like I just stay out of the other tours way. It's just funny that 5 tourists tonight actually said hello to me. That's normally not the case. Like they're like, oh shit, Nick's coming around the corner. I take a lot of their business.
Oh. What?
She's talking to Ann. There's 339 tours here in Charleston. And
Ghost tours?
Yeah, just
Holy
ghosts.
shit.
Yeah. And I'm always like, I'm surprised that I've been able to grow this over the past 4 years to the capacity that I have.
Uh-huh.
And you guys can still keep finding me. Like, I think the heat has just deterred a lot of people. You know, that's why I'm kind of slower this week, but there's been a lot of cancellations. You know, they're, oh shit, I forgot my kid was supposed to go back to school this week. Oh, great. You got to cancel your vacation because the kid's going back to school? But it's been a weird week. But normally I'm pretty sold out in the middle of summer and October. Like, October's already filling up.
Yeah. It's a better month to come here, I think. It's
Believe it or
cooler.
not, like, well, it's the weather, yeah, but that's where I get all the layman folks. So folks that are just want to do something spooky, and I don't get people like your wife. I'm assuming you guys married, correct?
Oh, yeah, long
Okay.
time.
Sometimes I do that, and you guys are brother and sister, and I'm like, oh shit, what did I
We've
say?
been married for 28 years.
But I don't get people that are like super into this and enthusiasts. I just get, let's go do something spooky.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't help you.
No. Well, I'm not looking for the help. It's a
Yeah.
matter of the what are we going to get out of it, because I get, 10 skeptics that show up, and we just want to see if the stuff is real, and they're all part of one college group. What do you got?
I got Mama, John,
John is good.
and Focus.
Do you know who John was?
No?
Calico Jack's real name was John. John Rackham.
Oh, okay. Well, that didn't come from here. It came from my head.
Okay. I'm good with that.
Just
You've been
kept
pretty.
on saying John, 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 and then said Focus, and then said John again. So I thought to myself, stop focusing on this, focus on the head.
That's why I don't always give those to people with intuition. So let's cover some answers, because I'm sure Bill's tired of holding this camera over here. So let's go over to the wall.
Yeah, there's something with this wall. What is it? Because
What do you got with the wall? Because the young lady last night had something about the wall too.
these two things right here
Yeah.
have something to do with what happened here. Actually, they're not here for a reason. Not
You're talking about the earthquake bolts?
yeah,
So the earthquake bolts, you have to remember that the building.
not that. These.
Yeah.
But they're not. They symbolize something else to somebody.
So put things in perspective for a second. The building was finished in 1713. We didn't have an earthquake here until 1886. It's 153 years after the fact. They didn't put those in, I don't think, until 1892.
I don't
think
know.
it was the year that they put those in.
But the pattern. It's the pattern.
Oh, we're in the Holy City, dear. Of course they made them in the form of crosses.
But they aren't all made in the form of crosses.
They're not. You're correct. Actually, the building behind it also has earthquake bolts. That's what those peach squares are in between each floor. What's funny about that building is they're on all 4 sides, which means they crisscross in the floorboards this way. So they're laid on top of each other in the form of X's or crosses.
Huh.
I don't know. I don't know, but they all go, this wall and these two crosses.
Believe it or not, this wall wasn't put here until early 1900s to separate the church property from the powder magazine. This wall actually belongs to St. Philip's Church.
I don't know. There's something here that I can't tell you what it is.
Okay.
It just feels something.
And I find it interesting because, like I said, the young lady last night came over, was using a spirit box, but had to touch this wall specifically and said there's something weird with the wall.
That's funny because I don't even want to touch the wall.
That's exactly why you probably didn't sit down.
Huh?
That's just probably the exact reason why you didn't come over to sit down when I offered.
No, you said we could sit on that wall, and I didn't want to sit on that wall. I went to sit on that wall because I don't like that wall.
Part of the reason why I give you that heated warning at the top of our tour, you can stop the video and give your hand a break. All right, take that thing out of your ear because I don't want to give you too much. You know, we're going to leave it running just because I want to know what's going on with it during this session so I can listen to the last 10 minutes of it later on. Hey, look at that. I completed my goal. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
Tell you.
Stiff goals. My
They're all
father-in-law
good.
texted me today, and he was freaking out because I got a new watch band, which means I don't wear the metal one all the time. And he's on Fitbit as well, so he's like, "Don't make me start worrying about you. You only had 2,200 steps the other day." I'm like, "I didn't have a tour the other day. I sat on my ass on the couch and watched movies." So it's like,
That's funny.
he's my biggest fan. Like, he loves this. All right, so here's how this is going to go down. You're going to put the viewfinder on. I'm going to put my phone in there, and you're going to tell us everything that's not, gray smoke, which is just the background. When those images pop up, they're not going to be 3D in your face like you would normally expect from a VR cam. They're just going to be 2D and kind of floating in middle air. You're just going to need to describe what they are in very simple terms. So if you see 3 people with 1 person on a bench and a tree behind them, that's exactly what you say. It'll stay up there for anywhere between 10 to 25 seconds or so, and it'll disappear, and then you're going to get more. Hopefully, we're going to get more than. There are some nights I only have 1. There's other nights I've had 7. I have no idea what's going to happen. So, just going to look at the word list real quick.
Tree frogs are really loud.
We got tree frogs and cicadas going on now.
That's a tree frog.
In the background, but if you hear the ambient
Yeah,
noise in the
they're
background,
up here.
yeah, cicadas everywhere.
Yeah, they're worse in Colombia. You wouldn't even know what they sound like in Colombia.
Was it 2 years ago? You were real bad everywhere?
Yeah. No, but I'm serious. In Colombia, they don't even sound like cicadas. They sound like possessed insects.
It would go greatest noise in the background like that.
Oh my God, it's awful.
You ever seen AI images before? So just kind of give you an idea. This was one that showed up for last night.
Oh.
Just random, completely random pictures
Okay.
that show up.
Sure.
So, and then we'll see if they're actually relevant. So I'm going to delete all the ones from last night. I won't tell you if any of those are relevant or not. And then we'll start your session.
You can sit though.
Yeah, have a sit. Chill out. I don't mean to want to ask you questions. Just film around you just like that if you want to. It's perfectly fine.
Just like.
Yeah, just keep it up on your leg. There you go. So once I get this guy started. You ever used one of those before?
No.
So it's going to split it. It's going to have 2 different sides to it, one for each eyeball. Your focus is the little dial where my thumb is, so that way you can move it back and forth for your own focus. I'm just waiting for the app to start so we can get using it. You have to use a couple of things.
Over here.
See how it's going to look like gray smoke to you?
Yep.
Okay, you don't need to do anything besides wait to tell me what shows up and get it in focus. Watch your oak leaves on time. Got the same pair in a different color.
I love them.
Don't wear anything but. We're going to keep you under for 10 minutes. It is 11:11. I won't tell you why that's significant. So let me know when you're focused in, and I will start asking
I
questions.
think I'm focused.
Okay, good deal. So I'm looking to have Henry Timrod come and give us some visuals. Henry, if you can hear me.
A person in a hood and 2 people down a potential hallway maybe, or alley with pillars on this side and windows on this side.
Henry, are you here alone or is somebody else here with you? Please decide to give me an answer by using, I can't use the little box at all. So we can't hear you tonight, Henry. You can only do visuals. So I can't ask you any yes/no questions like I normally do. We can only do visuals tonight.
The girl that's in the background of that is wiggling her hands.
Henry, if you have somebody else here with you, can you show us a picture of anything yellow? Give us anything yellow if somebody else is here with you, and that color yellow will tell me who is here with you.
Nothing.
Sometimes it takes a minute, and again, sometimes it affects zero. Henry, this is going to be our only way of communication tonight is through visuals, because I'm not going to listen to the other box until later on. It's recording for me. So you can put answers in there, or see if you can give us visuals. This is a new test for you tonight. So anything yellow will tell me who else is here with you.
Whoa.
What do you got?
A man and a woman are hugging.
Okay, what time period?
Now.
Now. Okay.
But their faces are doing weird things.
They
One
like
of them
the
looks like a monkey.
Hmm.
Like legitimately looks like a monkey.
And I've seen that. Like, we've actually had images of Bigfoot come through this thing. It was so stupid. We had 2 pictures of Sasquatch show up in the same evening. I'm like, there's no Bigfoot.
Yeah, but that's.
But yeah, you got a person with Planet of the Apes head. Henry, you're going to have to give me something yellow to show me who else is here with you. If there's nobody else here with you, show us something in blue. Let's go with the color scheme tonight. Blue if you're here alone, yellow if somebody's here with you. Henry, can you show us an image of what we're hearing right now? What's coming out of the church? What sound was that? Can you give us an image of that through this green box? This is Anne, and she could see whatever you want us to see. Henry, if you can hear us and you're here, show us an image of what we just heard out of the church, please. You normally give it to us in a word format. Tonight is only visuals. Remember, the colors are blue and yellow. Show us something blue if you're here alone. Color yellow if somebody else is here with you. I'm going to go into another question if you want to try to give us a different option of showing us your occupation. What tools did you have to use for your occupation? 3 questions right now, Henry. One if you're alone, one if you're not, and the other is for your occupation. Giving us some very interesting images lately. I want to see if they start to add up. And did you want to ask him something?
Henry, are you tired of this?
Yeah, intuitive folks all tell me that he is.
Can you just cooperate for us one more time? Do you have something blue or yellow? Anything different you want to show us?
It's been over 5 minutes so far.
A mother and a child.
Time period?
Very early.
1700s or 1800s?
I would say 1800s.
Henry, it's interesting that we asked you for something else and this is the image you gave us. How old is the child, by the way?
3 or 4? 3?
Toddler now?
It's a toddler.
wearing blue by chance?
It's in black and white.
Henry, if this picture is about your wife and your son, please show us something in the color red. Trying to keep things very simple for us where we can communicate with color and visuals, so you don't have to always try to tell us something specific. This is about your wife and son. Give us the color red. Anything in the color red will do. This is a black and white photo that Ann is seeing right now, and you can't see any colors in it at all.
Some red just came across my screen.
Red did? It should be purple and green.
Henry.
Unless you picked up a car driving by with a brake light. Because it will show up red in there.
Henry, are you communicating with that computer over there, or are you communicating in here?
Henry, we're going to run out of time. You know we don't do this for very long.
Henry, what else do you have going on that you can show me?
Henry, we're down to 2 minutes. What else can you show us that's relative, that shows us that you're here? I gave you 3 colors to work with: blue, yellow, and orange.
Henry, do you have anything blue, yellow, and orange? Or orange? Just one more thing, Henry.
One more image, Henry, and we'll call it a night.
Show me one more. Please. Really?
Henry, I know I try to make this deal with you every night. One more image, and we will truly go home. I will give them a brief of your history and your occupation, and we will leave you in peace. I know it's not a peaceful night because it's Saturday, and I know you don't like crowds.
And that, whatever that is making a very large noise.
Large noise.
Yeah.
A crowd of people in front of you. Looking toward this one.
No, there's a large noise.
My phone gave you a notification.
No.
Henry, we're about to say goodnight. Can you show us goodnight back in some way, shape, or form? Picture of a moon. Picture of stars.
I get the impression that Henry does not want to talk. Is
Henry,
that the case, Henry?
Henry is very timid. Fridays and Saturdays are usually not the good nights to try to get in contact with him.
So many people.
Yep. He doesn't like all the people.
Henry, I'm only here tonight. Could you share one more thing? No one else can hear you.
Yes, Henry, it's just us. Ignore all these other people.
And that tree frog.
There's more than one over there. Yeah, I think I just moved on that tree.
Probably the frog. Henry. Can you stop the frog?
That's not in his wheelhouse to stop frogs.
Henry.
Henry, last call. Whatever you want to share with us.
Are you too tired?
Just tired of me asking the same damn questions every day.
Henry. Where do you go?
Great question.
Turn it off.
Yeah, go ahead and hit that stop button.